Welcome back to the Duck Fellas podcast, episode 29. And once again, just me and old Zachy boy.
Hey, a couple guys got to keep the train rolling because obviously two others can't hang.
Yeah, no kidding. What is up with those guys? Oh, although Austin does have an excuse this week.
Understandable.
Yeah. But old Cade, man, he's just always dodging us.
Dude, you know what? He's getting. I'm about to call him frosted, as flaky as he is.
Absolutely. Well, what have you been up to for the past couple weeks?
Oh man, we're gonna talk about it a little bit in this cast here, but kind of getting some shit moved in. You can see I'm outside, sitting on the deck of the new place, overlooking rolling hills of God's country in southern Iowa. We're gonna get ready to spray some grass, plant some switch, some CRP and some natives. Rabbits ran through the yard. My beagle's about ready to screw that thing up. And spending more money than I make, if that's the best way to put it.
Aren't we all at this point in time? It's tough out here for some guys. Speaking of CRP, that's going to be a big topic of ours today that we're going to talk about, as well as we're going to touch on these duck numbers that just came out, and they don't look very good again.
Well, I suppose that depends on which side of things you are. If you're a weekend hunter or a serious hunter or you want to sit on Facebook and bitch type of hunter.
Well, there's a little bit of truth to that. I mean, if you're looking at it from a conservationist standpoint, they just don't. They're looking worse and worse every year. It seems like it's always bad news nowadays.
Yeah, if you're looking at it that way, it's bad. If you look at it from year to year, right? Obviously, some numbers are up, but if you look at it from an actual, I don't want to call him an actual hunter, right? But like a guy that hunts quite a bit, the numbers are just numbers.
Yeah. I mean, numbers are numbers, and
if that's the best way to word it, right? Like, yeah,
right.
I mean, numbers go up, numbers go down, but we'll get into that a little bit. We'll I'll throw some shade at somebody, I'm sure. So
Absolutely, we got to at some point. Got to keep it real. Well, this is the week we're gonna close the giveaway. It is officially closed, and we're going to give away these 2 Alps layout blinds that have been up for bid here.
woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
We had a fair amount of entries, not a ton, but not like nobody. So, but hey, it's a free blind. I don't really care. It's just time to get rid of them, and they're not old, but we're just moving on to something different. And figured instead of selling them, might as well just give them away to some people.
Absolutely. Get some guys, get some, Delta says, make more duck hunters. So we get some guys involved that needed some blinds. There we go.
100%. I just spun the wheel and I have a list here. And the first winner is number 10. So that would be Rathams01 from Instagram that commented. I will shoot a message out to the winners and go from there. Obviously, hopefully they respond. If they don't respond, then we will respin the wheel next time and redraw that winner.
Can you pull that up real quick on Instagram? Or I'm trying to pull it up here, but I want to see what his comment was. I'd like to know what his duck was.
100%. I'm working on it. His comment was a mallard. This is his dream bird to kill.
Mallard hasn't killed a mallard yet. Hell right, man. You know what? Good. We're getting some guys in here that want to kill the duck that we're all chasing, right? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think that's kind of the pinnacle bird.
Tyler's boat is the mallard boat. I got told I wasn't allowed to shoot a diver because we only hunt mallards.
Well, right. Yeah, that's what we're out there to kill when we're in the boat.
So good for him. Glad. Hope he gets that mallard this year. If you need some help getting that mallard, get a hold of Tyler and myself. I'm sure we can work something out. If you're in the States and around Iowa or something like that, we can help you get a mallard.
Absolutely. And I did just send him a message on Instagram. So if you are listening to this podcast tomorrow, whenever it comes out on all platforms, make sure you check your DMs. I sent you a message and you should have it. We'll go ahead and spin the wheel here again for the next blind. This is for anyone that's under 18. So you have pretty strong odds of winning this one. Let's see. And spin. This one's also one from Instagram. It is Life of Murphy's Outdoors. And I remember them commenting just the other day. 3 days ago, they commented. And they said they are new to duck hunting. So any legal bird would be fine. But they would also love to get a mallard.
You know what? That's great. And Life of Murphy Outdoors, if you're listening, we would love some engagement. You're new to it. You're new to duck hunting. We were all new to duck hunting at some point. Tyler might not have been. He came out of the womb calling ducks like a champ. I'm new as a 5-6 years ago. So we all got goals, and I'm glad that it's a mallard. That was mine for a long time. Yeah, I'm glad it's going to somebody that's getting into it, wanting to get into the sport.
Absolutely. No, it's really cool that, they're just getting into it. I know they said they had kids, that were also getting into it. That's why I put them in the under 18 drawing. So it's cool to see new people getting into it and wanting to start this or do some of this hunting and get into this sport that we all love.
And the fantastic thing is if you get addicted to duck hunting early, you can't afford drugs. So what would you rather your kid be a duck hunter or a drug dealer? And here we are. So congrats to the 2 winners. And let's get some hunting done. Like I said, I'm sure we'd be able to help or point some guys in the right direction. If you guys are looking for some mallards or anything, if you're around the Iowa area, let me know.
Whatever just happened there, you had sounded like a robot. Your internet buffered a little
Oh,
bit there.
is it better now?
Yeah, you're good now. But no,
Oh,
it's
the
awesome.
satellite must have been.
Yeah, satellite doing satellite stuff.
Damn Starlink.
Life of Murphy Outdoors did just message me or reacted to my message, so they got that. Like I said,
Fantastic.
to the other winner, didn't really have a real like a name, but Rathams, or actually says Rudolph on here, Ratham01. Make sure you do check your DMs and you get back to us, and we can figure out a way to get you your new blind. That's something you don't want to miss out on.
Nope, absolutely. Congrats both to you guys. And let's kill some ducks this fall, huh? Get these boys some mallards.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's get to it. Yeah, so now that the giveaway is done, we will have to figure out something else to do later on down the line as it gets closer to season here. Maybe some decoys or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know a guy. We could probably get maybe a dozen decoys, do a giveaway, decoys and rigs.
Right.
Get some guys rigged up for the season. We are blue collar. We can't really afford to give away a gun yet, but we can get you closer to the actual the decoys, and you got the blind. So hopefully one of you guys maybe win some decoys. And so what, bags of corn?
Yep, bags of corn. Should have gave away corn seed. They could have planted their own corn.
Damn it.
Oh man. Well, let's get into it this week. Duck numbers are something that has been a hot topic also with the whole flooded corn debacles and all that stuff going on. But I mean, in reality, duck numbers are the biggest one, because no matter if you have flooded corn, you don't have flooded corn. If you don't have ducks, you don't have ducks. You're not going to kill any.
Absolutely. But you also have to look at, if you don't have ducks, you don't have ducks. You're right. But I'd like to test the validity of these duck numbers as well, which we can't. We can't. We're taking it for face value, right? But
obviously, there's no way to know for sure, But I mean, it does seem like, well, for example, I grew up in Southern Illinois. Used to be awesome hunting. We used to kill the shit out of birds. But nowadays, I still talk to my dad pretty much every week during waterfowl season, and they just don't get the birds, period. Like, they don't see a fraction of the ducks that we used to see. So, I mean, there's that, and that's not just there. It's many other areas in the country that report that. Hey, you muted yourself there, bud. There you go.
Yeah, I think duck numbers are going to fluctuate, obviously, but I can't speak for anything before 5 years ago. But I've seen, what I thought were good years, and then I've seen a couple like what I could consider actual good years, and I've seen a couple that are kind of shit. And I don't know if you can contribute that to actual brood, like this is what came out, or if you can contribute that to, like we talked about, flooded corn, or if you can contribute that to habitat, and they just don't want to be in the area, or what it is. But either way, they put out these numbers every year. And if you looked, mallards are up, pintails are up, teal are down, right? Blue wing was down, if I remember right.
So blue wing were down, but green wing were up. Which,
we're in Iowa. Our blue wing kind of look like brown turds flying through the sky, but it's one of those deals where we've always shot a lot of teal early season, especially get the dogs out, get them freshened up, and but yeah, it's nice to see, again, going off the numbers specifically, it's nice to see mallard numbers up, nice to see pintail numbers up.
Absolutely. And one thing to take into account is this is like the breeding duck survey, right? Like, this is what they're seeing in the pothole region now. So there's another survey, a waterfowl survey, that comes out in the fall, or close to the fall, and like whatever. But so hopefully, with the year before and years prior here recently, we've had a lot of dry years. So the prairie potholes have dried up, a lot of wetlands have dried up, and also there might be water when the birds get back there to the breeding grounds, and then they don't get any rain, it dries up. So hopefully, with it being a wet year, and last year was a pretty wet year for like North Dakota and South Dakota, and I know this year Canada's been getting quite a bit of precipitation, and things are looking better. They're not where they need to be in Canada, but they're getting there. Um, hopefully, we see a good hatch this year, and then see a trend, like a turn in the trend that we've been seeing here.
Yeah, it seems like last couple of years it's been you get a heavy rain and then it just kind of droughts out. So I'm hoping that these cells or these storms that we've been getting, I mean, really the past month and a half, it's just been constant moisture, which is good for everything, as long as it's not is that a hard crack? As long as it's
No,
not like a gully washer rain, right? You get some nice rains that fill up potholes and fill up these gullies and creeks and everything else. That hopefully, if nothing else, it gives them the water to kind of survive that hatch. I feel like if we get a lot of water where they hatch and then we drought it, not that you know what I mean, but where it droughts out and shit dries up and then a lot of the hatch dies off. So hopefully we got some good survivors out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to put it into perspective, like last year on this survey, we were at 2.6 and a half ducks million, and now this year they're recording 2.4. So it's a 10% drop from last year's from what they recorded. From the long-term average, a long-term mean, I think it's over from like 1945 or something like that. We're looking at only like a 3% drop, but we've had years like this in the past where we went through a downward trend and had really bad numbers, and I think that was part to do with over harvest back in the day, because I don't think there was any regulations on them.
I think a lot of it's to do with over harvest, but I also call me a hippie or whatever you want, but I also think there's a part of Mother Nature that just knows, you know what I mean? Shit changes and
Mother Nature plays its course.
Yes, and I think you'll see these drops and you'll see them rise again, and it's it's just gonna be a vicious cycle. And obviously, anything that we can do personally to help is only gonna help it.
I mean, we do lose habitat every day. We lose more and more habitat because obviously, people are spreading out, building homes, or cities are expanding and stuff like that do take away from the CRP land or the pothole regions, or just, hunting areas that people hunt.
I think a lot of the blame gets put on the farmers, and I'm not saying they don't take away certain habitat, but you can't put this on the farmers. It's a lot of those guys are filling the ground that they've had for how many years. A lot of it's you get these big cities and they start here, and then all of a sudden they just. I mean, talk about how much habitat gets lost with apartments and strip malls and gas stations and all this shit. Our numbers are growing as people, and so that's going to naturally decrease the amount of habitat we have.
Absolutely. I mean, look at where we live. Look at Des Moines area, and look how big Des Moines has blown up in 10 years, 15 years from what it was. I mean,
10 years. I mean,
huge.
Another 5, you're almost going to consider, Indianola, which is, I don't know how many miles, 15 miles out of Des Moines. You're almost going to consider that part of Des Moines in the next 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll kind of start. We'll start with mallards here because that's my favorite duck, and I feel like for the mass majority,
mallard king, right?
Shut up, not a mallard king, mallard purist. That's
the best way to purist.
But I mean, honestly, the mallard is like the most popular duck people are going out there for and trying to kill.
It is, and it's. You weren't wrong earlier when you said it's the quote unquote pinnacle, right? Like when I first started duck hunting, I was like, damn, I would just love to kill a beautiful greenhead, because that's what you think about when you think of duck hunting. It's a Drake mallard.
It's really the face of the ducks nowadays. Well,
it is.
Big River Ammunition here says Spoonie's greater than mallard, which is it's always a hot topic on the Spoonies.
They all taste the same, brother, and I appreciate you for saying it.
But really, I mean, if you think about duck hunting and people post, like when people make logos or graphics on waterfowl hunting, it's generally a mallard. I mean, that's
I think there's two ducks that really define. I don't want to say define, but for lack of a better term, that define, like when you look at the the face of duck hunting, and it's a Drake wood duck and a Drake mallard.
Yeah.
Drake wood ducks are beautiful. They have, obviously the coloration's awesome, and the Drake mallard is like the God dang it.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What's that TV show, right? Like it's
Which TV show? There's a few of them. Mojo Outdoors.
Nope. No. Uncle Si, come on.
Oh, Duck Commander?
Duck Commander, right? Like it's focused, and all of us are focused around this Drake mallard, and that's fantastic because it's a beautiful duck. So I hope that all these guys get to shoot that Drake mallard and get, I've got two coming back here this month that are going on the wall because it's what you want to shoot as when you're getting into duck hunting. That's what you think of.
Right.
Drake woodies are beautiful, but it's weird how it kind of evolves. Have you not noticed yourself evolving of, I want to shoot Drake mallard, and now it kind of like you shot the drakes, we can kill the drakes, we can kill the hens, and but now you can have certain ducks you're like, I love a Drake mallard, but I would love to kill a full plume black duck.
Nah, I still want to kill a Drake mallard.
Oh my God, you're so full of shit.
All right, let's get into some numbers here. So the mallards this year, the continental population is stable. I mean, it's right around that 6.5 million mark, but it still remains like almost 20%. I think it's 15 to 20% below the long-term average, which is a big drop in mallards.
It is. Do you think we're gonna side pot that for a second? Do you think that has anything to do with the stuff that's going on in Arkansas with the cypress trees and loss of habitat and vegetation, everything like that?
No, I don't. I mean, does it play to an effect of how they kill their birds? Yeah, and like how many, like where they go? Yes, like the habitat. So to put it this way, look at the year we had the flood here in our area, and how many ducks we had around that year. I mean, it was insane. We don't ever get that many ducks around. So
I was hunting, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, because you're loser.
Whoa. Ray's different, but yeah.
The waterfowl adapt, and they will go to where they will just go to where they can see that stuff. They don't just magically appear there. They don't send a text out and say, hey, there's a lot of water here, or it's awesome habitat here, come here. They can see it.
That's what we do.
Sense it. Yeah, we do.
Oh.
But really it all boils down to this time of year and how well the hatch goes and what places get birds. Obviously, weather plays a part of it, and then there's also just your natural migrations. I mean, there's been days where I'm hunting and it's hotter than hell, and we get a push of ducks just because of the moon phase and time of year.
Yeah. I would be curious to know. I mean, obviously, you can't. I try not to argue with duck numbers, but like you just talked about with the habitat and ducks kind of realize where to go. Do we get into a habit as people of just going to, for around us, right? We have a giant lake. You just go right there. But really, they've kind of shifted. So there's more ducks in areas versus where you're counting and all that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some people look at you can go to Louisiana and think about all the places that people hunt because their great grandfather hunted there. They hunt the same spot. Like birds are it's gonna vary year to year on a weather standpoint when it comes to not just how cold it is and snow they get, but rain they get in the spring and the fall leading into that year. I mean, so it essentially weather does play a part in pretty much everything, but in all aspects, not just snow and cold. I don't know. Well, it's crazy the change that just rainfall can have on a migration.
Oh, when we have, and obviously we can only speak for, or I can only speak for what's right here around us. It's when you have those rains in the fall or late summer and you get those potholes that fill up, it's like, holy shit. we have a pile of ducks.
No, it
But if
gives
you
them
don't
more
get
habitat to spread out in.
exactly, so I'd be curious. Obviously, I have to shout out Woody Creek, Brett Henderson, however you want to word it. When them duck numbers come out, you know, guys that don't kill are gonna bitch, and killers are gonna kill either way. So,
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you're die hard into it, you're gonna go to the places, you're gonna put in the work, you're gonna scout, and you're gonna find them if you have the means to find them, and you're willing to do it.
yep,
Some people aren't. Some people can't do that. Some people are just limited to what they can hunt. Like I was going with Louisiana and going to the same spot, or on the Mississippi River, they have big duck blinds that are permanent. And
but
sometimes that's
you can't limit that to what they're allowed to find or hunt. Like that's just they get. I don't
well,
want to call it lazy, right? That's a bad way to word it, but they get comfortable with just
comfortable. I
going.
mean,
We
yeah, but
have this blind. We have this farm. It's there ain't no ducks here. No, wrong. Food
yeah, but
changed, habitat
some people are
changed,
content with
and
that.
that's fine. I'm not dogging nobody for being content where you hunt, but don't come to me and say you hunt a private club and there ain't no ducks and bitch about it if you're not willing to put it in any more effort than driving 10 minutes down the road going to a private blind.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just part of it. So there's killers will be killers and hunters will be hunters and weekend warriors will be weekend warriors.
Yep. But
But
what other I did want to touch on. So obviously there's some golden, if you want to call it. I'm going to call it golden ducks, right? So a lot of guys, I know you're not one of them, but pintail numbers were up. I don't know, last year, but or the numbers before these past numbers, pintails were down, right?
they I don't think
I think pintails were down, and then they kind of came up this year.
they're definitely up this year. Pintail are up, so they're up 24% this year from last year, but they're down 31% from the long term.
Which is, when did that start?
1945
Okay.
or so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, besides yourself, a lot of us, like I would love to have a beautiful sprig up on the wall. So it's nice to see if those numbers are accurate and everything else. It's nice to see pintails are up. You know, canvas. I know. I think canvas were down this year actually.
The canvasback?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, canvasback are 32% down.
Yeah, they're way down. I was like, I thought I remembered seeing they were way down.
But canvasback do fluctuate a lot, and I'm not sure why, but canvasback fluctuate a lot and always have. Like they're only 2% down from on the long term.
It. After this year, these numbers, and they're only 2% down from the 40s.
Yep. One thing, one number you'll be shocked by is the redhead. It's 6% down from last year, but it's 118% up from the long-term average. That's the biggest increase on all of them.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they're doing good.
Oh, you know what that means from the boat? Redheads are fair game.
Yeah.
I think I've shot more redheads goose hunting fields over ponds than I ever have hunting lakes or rivers.
Well, we don't ever hunt when we hunt the lake, we don't hunt spots where you're necessarily going to kill redheads.
No, but as a red, like I just, when I started out, it was like I shot this redhead over a goose spread, and they're like, "It's a redhead duck." And I was like, I'm holding it, I'm like, "Ooh, cool." And it's weird the amount of redheads I see goose hunting cornfields, especially with ponds in them, versus duck hunting out of the boat. It's like I don't really see that many redheads.
Right. Like Chris said, that like canvasbacks were up last year as well, or yeah, they were up last year or something like that. I don't know. Oh, pintails, I think is what he's talking about, were up last year as well. And he said if you believe the numbers, which in all reality, so there's probably better ways to record the numbers nowadays than what they do, but if they change the way they do it, it will mess up the entire long-term mean and average and everything. So they got to kind of be consistent on how they do it, because if they do it now and it shows like way more ducks than last year, or what has been shown on record, period, then the average is going to be, the whole graph will be messed up. You know what I mean? So they got to kind of go off the same thing. Technology's approved. There's better ways to do it. I almost guarantee it. But they kind of got to stick with how they're doing it.
I mean, short of asking the ducks how many are with them, you
Yeah.
got to kind of stay where you're at, which, like we've talked about before in previous episodes, it's not that we necessarily agree with the numbers. It's not, it is what it is, but those are the numbers that everybody sees. So that's what everybody goes off of. So that's what we kind of roll off of.
Yeah, you got to take them with a grain of salt, right? Like, we know they're not 100% true. They never will be, no matter how you do it, because there's just no way to doing that unless you put a tracker on every single bird out there.
Right.
But it is what it is. It's what we have to work with. It's kind of what we go off of. It's what we've gone off since we started making these numbers up, however they do it. But one that I'm surprised by is the blue-winged teal being down so much.
I am too. And I mean, obviously, I can't speak for the rest of the country because I haven't looked into their seasons, but it almost seems like, I mean, we have that early split, and it's just, I know more and more guys that are like, I ain't going out. It's hot. We don't run the dogs. It's hot. We don't want to. I'm not putting on waders. It's hot. So it's weird for me that the teal is down.
Well, and they started that early teal season partly due to the fact of blue-winged teal, because they were doing so well and there were so many of them, and there still is a ton of them. If you compare them to the green-winged teal, way more blue-winged teal.
Oh yeah.
But I'll be curious if they keep trending down like they are and have been, if they end up eliminating the early teal season, if the blue-winged teal numbers keep declining.
That might piss some people off here in Iowa, but I hope they do.
I like it.
How many times you hunted in the past 3 years?
I hunted every year, usually.
Well, I didn't hunt last year.
Well, I was in Michigan, a little farther away. But I generally do go out.
And the excuses roll in.
Yeah, shut up. It's fun to get out and go do that, though, in September. It gets you kind of like, because you're obviously itching to go all year long after, for me, it takes about a week after hunting season. Like, oh, I miss it again. But so I enjoy getting to go out. It's more of a little dust off, or get your shooting back in line and have fun. Go do what you like to do. But I won't be surprised if eventually it does go away, if the numbers keep declining.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself and not everybody else, I wouldn't be upset if it went away. I don't do a lot of early teal. I think there's a handful. I don't want to say a lot by any means, but I think there's a handful of irresponsible hunters that shoot rainbow teal early. And honestly, I think I would rather sit over a dove plot and kind of sharpen your shooting skills with some dove hunting and having a couple barley pops and talk with buddies versus sitting over water running my dog when we got itchweed and we got swimmer's itch and shit like that out when it's still that hot. So
right. And it's all part of it, but I could see it going away also due to that reason of how many wood ducks and shovelers get killed during teal season, or people that kill local mallards that just don't care,
But it all goes back to our episode 34 weeks ago where it comes to duck identification. Like if
right.
I can't blame a guy because I've been there. You start and you have no idea what you're looking at besides a flying bird. I can't. And for us in Iowa, an early season woody is not that much different than a teal. Like, it's a little bigger, but it's tough to identify. So I can't blame the guys that do it, or I blame the guys that do it intentionally, not the guys that do it accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes are going to happen. We're all human. I mean, whether you just act, I mean, it's sometimes it can be a total mistake when you kill a shoveler, because shovelers do mix in with the teal.
It can be, but don't post it on Facebook. Look, mud stalk. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. No.
Yeah. I mean,
Drew Purcell, it sucks.
Drew Purcell here is like, you can tell, and you definitely can. For the guy that does this all the time, you can. I mean, I can generally tell. There's times where I'm like, oh, here comes some, and then it's like, oh shit, that's a wood duck. My bad. But I mean, for guys that are just getting in the sport, it's gonna happen where you're gonna mess up. I mean, all I can say is, if you're a new hunter and you're getting into this, like some of our people that entered in the giveaway here, is make sure you really study the duck identification pages and kind of learn what the wing colors are on them, because that's one of the biggest giveaways is their wings, or like a wood duck has a square tail, stuff like that.
It's definitely, the wings and the neck is a big one for me. That's where I kind of started learning what I mean. A wood duck body, neck, head is a little different than a teal, the neck to head, and that's where I just don't have the eyes to pick out the wing color, but I started looking at the way they fly and what it looks like
100%.
from the wings forward. Then I'm like, nope, that's a woody.
Right. And there's multiple ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
So there's other ways to figure it out.
Again, you're only going to learn by doing it. Like I can tell you, well, I can't tell you much. I'm a dipshit, but I can tell you how to skin a cat, but you're only going to know how to skin a cat once you do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not dogging nobody for accidentally shooting some. If I might get a lot of hate for this, if you accidentally shoot a woody during teal season, fucking breast it out and shut your mouth.
Right. And Chris says another thing about the head bob and the tail. So yeah, I mean, when they're flying, he said he can generally tell once they hit around that 50-yard mark, when you see that head bob and it's a wood duck, and you can tell by the tail. Those are two dead giveaways for wood
that
ducks.
depends on flight pattern too. I've been on hunts early season. They come off a roost pond and they just come straight at you over a feed pond. They come dick around first thing in the morning before they go feed. Tell me the difference between a teal and a wood duck coming straight at you at 40 yards, at 30 yards off the ground. It can be tough.
Yeah. It can be tough.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it can be tough for those guys that aren't experienced.
And I'll tell you this, if you do make the mistake during early teal season, just own up to it. Don't if you try and hide it. But I'm not saying call a DNR and own up to it like right away. Do you on that perspective, but don't stomp it in the mud. Just take it with you. If the game warden's there, just I messed up. Most of the time, generally, if you're honest with the guy, because half the time those guys are watching with binoculars or they're putting around in their boat watching what's going on. If you're honest with them, you have a better chance of getting a warning and telling them you made a mistake and it just happened. You have a better chance of getting a warning than an actual ticket.
Yeah, my opinion is obviously people make mistakes, like you just said, but don't waste it. Don't. There's a huge difference in shooting something and tossing it versus shooting something and breast it out. Fucking cook it like it was a teal, whatever. If you don't get caught, great. If you get caught and you have it with you and you're talking about breasting it and cooking it for your family, like you said, there's a very good chance those guys are like, all right, here's the deal. We're going to give you a $40 ticket. Just don't do it again. Yeah.
Well, you got a better chance for a wanton waste ticket if you stomp it in the mud and try and hide it than just getting a whatever ticket, whatever it is for not out of season ticket,
I learned from a very young age that it's a waste of time lying, because 90% of the time when they ask you a question, they know the answer.
Right. So let's keep rolling here. Now these duck numbers declining every year, it seems like we're always doom and gloom. What could this mean for future seasons and maybe possible changes coming to the regulations at some point? Because we have the adaptive harvest program.
Yep.
And that's how they kind of regulate seasons and figure out if they're going to do 60-day, 30-day, or 3 duck limit or 6 duck limit. If we keep declining here, what could this mean? Like, at some point, they got to do a shorter season or lower bag limits, right? Even though they claim hunter harvest does not affect population.
The hunter harvest definitely affects population, in my opinion. But I could definitely see the going to 30 and 3. And if that's the case, so be it, right? Or I live in a state, or we live in a state that historically been good about deer and everything else. So I'd like to think that we're going to keep the waterfowl on that same track. Whether it goes to 360 or 330 or 630, it's just I don't
mowing
know.
The grass?
No, somebody's driving by on the gravel road.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would hope that when it comes to it, we get the ISC involved, we get the Delta involved, we get maybe DU, but we get
That's
Delta, we get ISC, like we kind of get them involved in discussing numbers and what we're seeing, and yeah, because we should have a say in what goes into. I would not personally be upset with a 630. It's a 6 day, 30 day, or a 6 a day, 30 day. And if they decide to take it to a 3 day, 30 day, then that is what it is. Like you gotta do what's best for the resources, not what's best for you or your comfort, right?
right. I mean, obviously, we're all out here to we all go out to have fun and kill our birds and go home and enjoy what we're doing. Like it's a blast to do like, to go waterfowl hunting. It's probably the most fun hunting I've ever done in my life. I've tried deer hunting and pheasant hunting and all that stuff, and I honestly enjoy waterfowl hunting the most personally. But everybody has their own kick.
Time. I am gonna touch on that because there's I talked to so many deer hunters that are like, oh, how do you waterfowl hunt during October and November and December? And it's like there's such a difference. I have a thrill about deer hunting. I bow hunt deer, love deer hunting. You know how many times I've bow hunted in the morning of October? Maybe a half dozen, and I'm 30. You know how many times I love getting up with my buddies and fucking cooking breakfast, having an energy drink, killing ducks, having a good time on the mornings of October? 4, because that's all Tyler would invite me. But either way, it's a great time.
Yeah, I know, but I don't invite you because you're annoying sometimes. It's fine. Damn. But no, it's everybody's got their own cup of tea, right?
Yep.
But no matter if they go to a shorter season or we don't change seasons, but if they say they go to a 30-3, I encourage everybody that enjoys to do it to not give up on the sport because it's going to come back around, right? You know, the only reason they would go to a 30-3, and it would be probably for a 5-year process, is to bring to make the resource better. It's all a resource, and we're using the resource. But obviously, don't give up on it because the more people that give up on it, then there's less money to go into our sport, and the less money, the less birds we're going to have. I mean, it takes money to keep these birds going.
It does, and that's I don't want to say too much, right? Because stuff's in early stages, but we're talking about some stuff that's going on here locally. The best I can tell all of you that are listening is get involved with your local chapters, whether that involves creating almost a branch of your own that would help that'd be great. For us, me and Tyler, obviously we're talking about kind of creating a branch that kind of helps us locally create habitat for ducks. Keeping ducks here, whether it's, we've heard of states that do you can't shoot past 3 or 4, whatever it is. Like, I don't disagree with that. It's
easy now. Easy now. You're gonna upset some people.
I know. I'm not saying I can agree with it. I can absolutely agree with all day, but I can absolutely argue the shut it down at 3 or 4 o'clock.
So that's one thing that I would like that. And Todd Copley's in here, and he said the same thing here. Stop hunting on public land at 1 p.m. So where I grew up hunting, that was a thing. Our shooting time ended at 1 o'clock, and I think for our area specifically, you could hunt from 30 minutes before sunrise during regular waterfowl season to sunset. And that is so hard on the birds. The stress level on them birds is intense because there's always somebody out there hunting them, no matter what, or always running around in a boat.
Nonstop, you know what I mean? It's nonstop bullshit, and and I'm not trying to call anybody out by any means because I'm part of that crowd, but
well, absolutely, we go out and do it too because you can do it.
You start banging birds at 3 o'clock, or you start calling like shit at 3 o'clock, or you start, getting birds out of their feeding area at 3 o'clock. Like, you would do so much better if you let them go in for a couple hours before dark, feed, relax, then go to their roosting area, and then come back in the morning. So I'm not disagreeing with what we have. but I could absolutely understand why somebody would argue that we should do this.
Right. So, and once again, big river ammunition here is like that would be tough to do on the Mississippi River. It can be, but they do it in areas down south on the river. And then Todd said they become nocturnal because of the pressure, and 100%. Pressure is the biggest reason why birds just don't give a fuck.
Pressure and food.
Right. And one thing I've been kind of saying for a while that it's going to be hard to do, because I mean, obviously you have your night shifters that want to, or people that work from 7 to 3, and then they get off work and they want to go hunting for the last 2 hours of daylight.
Yep.
By all means, it's their right. That it's public ground. It's legal to do. Go do it. Yeah, by all means, take your time and go out there and try and kill a duck. But I would like to see in our area where they at least shut it down shooting time at 3 o'clock and said you had to be off the water by 4, and that gives the birds that last like hour to hour and a half to get back in their spots, get comfy, have a little bit of fuck around time. Or you could do 1 or 2. Give them something to relax and just chill and not be always constantly pressured and pushed. And you don't do that for the whole season. You could do that, say, the first 30 days of the season, and then the last 30 days of the season, on a 6-day season, obviously, let it go back to the original rules. But give those early birds and those early migrators the rest and relaxation that they, could use to kind of keep them around.
You would have to do an off the water rule versus no hunting rule, only because I think we have some guys that would go out. I'm not saying myself isn't included, because this touch button thing's a joke. But if you go out and, yep, we're done hunting at 2. Oh, but now we're gonna go run this river or this sanctuary, this lake, or whatever your is in your area, and all you're doing is busting ducks up again. So
right,
I think if instead of the no hunting, you have off the water by 3 or 4 or 2 or whatever you decide, then yeah, that would be fantastic for duck numbers in our area specifically.
Right. So Big River just said something. He said start small and restrict non-resident to a shorter day. I get where you're coming from on that, but
what is the non-resident right now?
What do you mean?
He said restrict a non-resident to a shorter day.
So like, kind of like what I'm guessing, similar to what North Dakota does, but like restricts their days. But like, say a non-resident can only hunt from, if you're not a resident of Iowa, you can only hunt from half hour before to noon. Something like that is what I'm sure they're getting at here. But I hate the fact that we're having to restrict non-residents in states, because it's all one country. We're all, when we pay federal tax dollars and it goes to Delta or DU for these projects, it's not just that one state. Yeah, it's not just that one state putting that money and it's staying there. It goes all over the place. And South Dakota already does a lottery, which I think there's a couple other states that are really close behind them and doing that, a lottery system to get a license. I just hate putting more restrictions like that on where the average Joe can go and hunt. And there's already restrictions in place for going places. So when you start restricting where the guy that wants to go on a hunt once in a lifetime hunting trip, that hurts more than just restricting everybody as a whole.
Yeah.
But that's enough on duck numbers. We are going to talk about non-resident.
We do need to touch on some grasses too.
Yeah. So we are going to touch on an episode here somewhat soon, somewhere maybe next week, or not next week, but maybe on the next podcast or a later podcast, about non-residents and how it's affecting hunting nationwide, and through not just our nation, but Canada too. A lot of people come from America or United States and go to Canada and hunt. But let's move on to just CRP and the land and upland bird hunting, how crucial CRP is to not just waterfowl but also upland birds.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we are both on the same boat here on planting some native grasses on our home farm. I think there's a lot that's not understood about planting native grasses and native wildflowers and these forbs that come in. So if you kind of reduce these grasses that take over and you have some native flower forbs, all these birds love it. It's wild. The things I've seen that my friends put out, and it's wild the amount of birds we've seen.
I
Whether
mean,
it be we saw I don't want to call it a wetland because it's not, but it's all planted in CP25 native grasses to Iowa, right off of Cedar Creek, and there's a pile of wood ducks that are having some broods come out, and it's wild to see all these little yellow ducklings. And I'm like, it kind of started clicking, and it's like, all right, so now we have the grasses and the water, and now these wood ducks are habitating here. This is awesome to see. So now it's kind of, you're in the same boat. You got a pond, you got some area you can plant some of that stuff. I don't have a pond, but I got some area you can plant some of that stuff. And it's like, all right, we can kind of, for lack of a better term, control where and how these birds nest.
right. So, I mean, when we're talking CRP, a lot of people think CRP is for just pheasant hunting or quail hunting, which, I mean, it plays a major part in pheasant and quail hunting, but it also plays a huge part in just everyday life of waterfowl. Because when it comes to the breeding grounds, like, just gonna go back to mallards here because we always talk about mallards.
Whoa!
But they don't. They lay a nest on dry ground. So if you could have a pothole that's water, but then if that farmer farms all the way up to the water, there's not a very good spot for that hen to lay her eggs, right? And be also kind of protected from predators. So having a CRP with a pothole in it and a wetland, whatever you want to call it, provides so much better nesting habitat for them waterfowl to do better. Without the CRP, I mean, the waterfowl would be hurting even more than they are now, and pheasants would be non-existent. We'd have wiped them off the face of the earth by now.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, they nest on dry ground. So we have I don't want to call it. I hate to say that farmers plant up to the water, but they do, right? And you got to get every acre you can because farming's tough now. So,
well, I mean, everything's tough. I mean, money's tight for everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. So if we can get, without calling it out, like I'm gonna call out my 2.5 acres. We just bought 2.5 acres here. We do a half acre on the east side. We're gonna do a half acre on the west side. That's 1 acre of the 2.5 acres we bought that are going to be straight Iowa natives, Iowa CP25, native grasses, native forbs, that these pheasant and these quail. There's a creek on the east side, so we've seen wood ducks in these creeks. So these guys nest in this tall grasses and these native grasses because that's what they've had for years, hundreds of years. That's what they're used to.
Right.
So we get into the talk of, what do you have? Well, you've got 3 acres. Oh, I can't do anything with those 3 acres. Yes, you can. You can, absolutely. And I want people to realize that you can actually make a difference with 1, 2, 3 acres of just nesting habitat for ducks, pheasant, quail, all of it.
Right. Even if you don't have a pond or a wetland, I mean, every bit of CRP ground and like you said, CP25, or for waterfowl, it's more CP37, but they play a crucial role in just everything. Without it, the government does pay people to put ground in CRP, which is awesome. It's not really much income. It's not a whole lot of pay, but it is something to help out everything that all us hunters enjoy in whole, not just waterfowlers, but deer hunters, pheasant hunters, quail hunters, everybody helps all of us out, or even, comes down to rabbits and all that stuff too.
Yeah, when it comes down to, well, I can't really help X animal, whether it's duck or rabbit or deer, whatever you believe, right? We can't help that. You can though, because the habitat's going away. At least in Iowa, I can't speak for other states. Habitat's going away, but we're trying to pass certain bills here and there that will help habitat come back. And that's what
Right.
you see the fence lines along creeks, and everybody wants to clear that fence line out. Well, you know what you're doing. You're not only getting rid of habitat for quail and pheasant and rabbits, you're also getting rid of habitat for wood ducks and shit like that. That they use that to nest.
Yeah, I mean they obviously need it for just cover for the ducklings. Whenever a mallard hen or a wood duck or pintail, any of the ducks have a brood in that
Yeah.
nest on a CRP ground, it helps cover them up from the birds and all that stuff that are the prey. And then when it comes to pheasants, pheasants, quail. What else was there? Grouse. Sorry, brain fart. But pheasants, quail, and grouse, they all really need the CRP more than anything out there when it comes to birds, because without that, I mean, they're just out there in the open, no thermal protection, no protection from birds from above or coons, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's rough. As the guys be getting more involved, obviously more and more involved with duck hunting, there's a aspect of we have nesting structure, and then you realize what coons and possums and fox do, and what you could plant to help with that. Man, if I could advocate for every duck hunter to get a dozen coon cuffs and just start killing coons,
Yeah.
absolutely, because they're the number one problem that I've seen in the past 2 years. It's just they fucking raid nests nonstop. So
And that is one good thing about Delta is they kind of, Ducks Unlimited. I know we've talked bad about them in the past. We've talked bad on everything in the past.
You might have. I never have.
Yeah, okay. But
drop it.
Delta focuses more on the predators, and Ducks Unlimited focuses more on wetland restoration and preserving wetlands, which Delta does the same thing as well. But I feel like, and it's just factual, they focus more on controlling predators in those set areas than
I feel like over the past, what you want to call it, 10 years, the predators have been overlooked. It's more about building nesting structure, which is absolutely crucial. I'm not taking away from that. It's absolutely crucial. But it's we have to build this, and then you don't realize that there's a secondary we have to follow up with. Like we need to do the coons, possum, like I said, coons, possums, fox, coyotes, all of them are nesting predators, and it's rough. That's where it's hard, is trying to convince guys that you have to build the structure, and then you have to protect the structure.
Right. I mean, it's just like having a house. You whether you're building a house or you're buying a house, you buy the house or you build the house, and then you maintain it. You can't just buy a house and then say fuck it, not maintain it. It's gonna go to shit, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So I mean, it boils down to the people that enjoy doing it, and even if you don't hunt and you enjoy watching the birds, if you don't go the extra mile and buy a bird, if you buy a bird stamp to help, that $25 goes to helping restore wetlands or keep wetlands or CRP ground. That's where that money goes. It keeps that resource going. Without us, with the way people wreck land and take over land and turn it into a subdivision or whatever it may be, it just takes away from the natural resource. So
yeah,
at some point,
we're not asking you to not support ducks. We're not asking you to, like, like you said, it's people support red ground because it's gonna help the ducks, but there's also another step.
Right.
It's you can support ducks, you can help ducks, you can help pheasant, you can help quail, but there's also that shit you don't see. It's like, hey, let that guy go coyote hunt your ground. Let that guy go trap your ground, and that would triple whatever you're seeing on your property.
And James just made a comment here that makes a lot of sense. With the fur market falling out, it puts a huge damper and guys knocking down predators. Because
It sucks.
when the fur
As
market's trash, nobody wants to go out there and do it.
as a trapper, I completely understand. I mean, I still do it, right? I still go out, I run my trap line, catch coons, coyotes, fox, possum, whatever. You know, I'm not going to tell you the details of what I do with all of them, but yeah, it absolutely sucks because I can tell you it's the fur trade is people look at it and go, oh, it's just fur. Oh, we can go faux fur. You're right, but you don't realize that the fur trade also affects ducks. It affects quail. It affects pheasant. It affects fawns. It affects all of these things that people don't realize that it affects.
Yeah, no, it's a big thing. It's crazy that a grass
Who made that
field
comment?
James.
James, if you're in Iowa, get a hold of me. I tan all my fur out and we sell it together and we start making stuff. But you know why? Because people, for some reason, are way more comfortable buying it after it's tanned and off the carcass. So get a hold of me. Zach Newendorp on Facebook.
There you go. But no, it's crazy how much just a grass field. People will drive by and be like, why is it just a grass field? But in all reality, it's just helping everything out when it comes to hunting and the outdoors.
So we have, I don't know if I can show this. This is the house up here.
Oh, dude, do you use that swing?
I do personally.
Yeah.
The ones the like the buckle seat in it. But up here we have tall grass, right? We have it on the east side and the west side of our house. I can tell you that quail sit here and whistle on both sides of the house all day. Can you hear that dog?
Yeah, no, sounds like she needs water.
Sorry. So we have quail on that side and this side of the house, and they both have babies. So we put I put a collar on my beagle because he had one baby quail up here next to the deck, and I said no more. But what you don't realize is these tall grass. It's just grass. Like it's just grass. They let seed out. We're gonna burn it, not burn physically, like burn it with chemical this fall after the quail hatch, and plant both sides in a somewhat variation of a CP25. We're going to do a heavy native flower with a light native grass, and the quail that will be in there with those forbs of native flowers is going to be insane. So for the guys that look at this and go, well, I only got 2 acres, or I only got 3 acres, I only got 5 acres, that's fine. But instead of letting it seed out to grass or hay or whatever, you could plant this in a way that would make a lot of habitat for upland and wetland birds.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, everything helps. Makes a big difference when it comes down to it. It all. I mean, ultimately, people that hunt, people that enjoy the outdoors, play a crucial role and play the most important role in how well these birds do and deer and everything. Like if it wasn't for the people that are advocating for the ground, we wouldn't have the resource anymore, or we'd have way less than we do. And it is sad going back to the duck numbers, seeing them do terrible, but at the same part, Mother Nature plays its courses. Hopefully, with the wetter seasons we've been having, those numbers start to turn around sooner than later, and we don't have to see cuts in numbers or cuts in seasons and all that. But I think we're about to wrap this one up here. Hopefully, everybody that's listening enjoyed this podcast because it's been interesting. And if you before we close out here, if you have a question that you've been wanting to ask, shoot it out there real quick in the live stream. And if you're listening to this podcast on any of the destinations that we have posted on, it's pretty much on everywhere. Make sure if you want to, you can get on the live stream every Monday or every other Monday, generally, and you can comment and give us feedback on what you'd like to hear us talk about or that topic of the day. You can just pump out some comments and let us know what you think, what we're talking about.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys on what we should talk about, what we can talk about, what we shouldn't talk about. Either way.
I mean, we appreciate everybody that tunes in weekly or bi-weekly or just randomly when they can. It's awesome hearing the feedback because I do get feedback every now and again from people, and it's great to hear it, and it's just cool seeing what people think. But
yeah, absolutely.
Big River went back earlier and said he does agree with us when it comes to being regulated on areas on a federally mandated bird. It is crazy that non-residents can be limited on certain things compared to a resident, even though it's a federal bird. Going back to that, but hey, this is the days we live in.
Fair.
And Chris here said he's like, I don't need to take 6 ducks home every time, and I don't either. And it's fun to kill our 6 ducks a person, or say we got 4 guys, you're killing 24 ducks.
Kill 6 ducks?
Yeah, but it does make it fun. It's what we all go out for. But at the end of the day, I'm also going out there just to enjoy being outdoors and just to have a good time. That's why I don't deer hunt, because I hate sitting in a tree by myself or sitting in the ground by myself. It's boring.
No, I would agree. There's definitely a piece of sitting in a tree stand by yourself. I've done it, and but there's also if you want to call camaraderie of sitting in the duck boat with your buddies. It takes a lot of shit off your chest, takes a lot of shit off your mind. I truly do not care if we kill ducks every day.
No, I mean it makes it even more fun.
It makes it more fun, but I truly if we kill, you get a couple groups of teal that's like swinging real fast.
Yeah,
we're sitting there bullshitting. And it's just like, oh, you get a little excitement, but other than that, man, we sit there, we cook breakfast, we have energy drinks, we bullshit, talk about our life problems. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many times have we sat there and we've had some teal go ripping through the decoys and be like, wow, that was crazy, and we never even shot. Just like,
what's wild
cool.
is
it's
lot.
Cool seeing them work.
It's a lot, because every time last year we were like, oh, pile of teal. I'm like, nope, we're not shooting teal. Then we didn't kill a limit, and then every time we shot 1 or 2 teal, we killed a limit. So it doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. You get in the boat, you get in the blind, you get in the field, you get in the layout blinds, whatever it is. Get out with your buddies, fucking hunt, get your shit off your chest, and have a good time. That's what it's about. It's not about killing. It's not about whatever you consider duck hunting to be. It's about getting out there and getting with God, getting with your buddies, and having a good time.
Absolutely, 100%. But that's going to wrap up this episode of the Duck Fellas podcast. We appreciate every single one of you guys that have tuned in on this live stream, and we appreciate every single person that is listening to this podcast on their preferred podcast destination.
Besides the guy told me to count carpet fibers.
Yeah. Make sure, if you're on this podcast, make sure you like it, share it out to your friends, get it out there. We look forward to growing this podcast as we are getting closer to duck season every single day. And don't forget to follow those social media accounts and like, share, all the above. But until next time, we hope you guys have a great time and enjoy your 4th of July, because the next one won't be till after the 4th of July. So happy 250th. And
can't wait for those stories. Let's go America.
And nobody lose a finger.